welcome to Tea on the Catio. As you can see, I'm joined here by Smokey and Six. But who I want to talk about today is this guy here. So this is Gray. Gray was born in a flower pot just outside our garage. His mum is a feral cat who I managed to save after she was hit by a car. She recouped in our garage, but when we released her, we hadn't had time to get her sterilized. Before we could get her sterilized, she gave birth, and she gave birth to Gray, and Gray's sibling, which was a white kitten, doesn't have a name because unfortunately she passed away before we could really name her. So Gray has been with us his whole life. Mum, otherwise known as Car Cat, is also here in the cat room, but she's extremely feral, which means she won't come up and be stroked, and trying to catch her to take her to the vets and stuff like that is almost impossible. But Gray here is a very friendly little boy. Aren't you, Gray? He's been sterilized and vaccinated. He's all good to go, and has been, like I said, in the cat room his whole life. Mum, which will show you some video footage of Mum. Mum, called Car Cat. The reason she was called Car Cat, like I say, is she was hit by a car. I saw it happen, stopped the car, ran over to try to save her because I noticed another truck trying to deliberately swerve to hit her. I thought she was dead and just couldn't bear the idea of the cars running over her body, so I quickly stopped my car, ran out over the road, picked her body up and was just going to put it on the side of the road so I didn't get too mashed. But she was still alive but not moving, so I quickly put her in the front of the car and drove straight to the vets. When I finally got to the vets, she'd gained consciousness and was running around the car like a mad thing. When we tried to get in the car to get her out, she disappeared behind the dashboard somewhere, nowhere to be seen. I didn't want my car pulled to pieces at the vets, so I drove the car home with the cat hidden somewhere in the car. When I got home, I locked the car in the garage with the windows down and some food out, hoping it would lure her out of the car. I think it took 2 or 3 days, and the fear was that she might die somewhere in my car and there'd be the smell of dead cat somewhere in the car. Anyway, didn't happen. She got out of the car. She came out of the car eventually. We managed to nurse her back to health, but like I said before, we could get her sterilized. We released her in the front garden. She hung around here, was a regular in the front garden, though you couldn't go anywhere near her. And obviously got herself pregnant and had 2 kittens, like I say, in the flower pot outside of the garage. I came down one morning to feed the cats, as I do every morning, and there they were. So we quickly grabbed the kittens, put them in a big cage in the garage with the idea that we'll get Mum in there, we'll give Mum all the food and water and safety that she needs to bring up her kittens. But she was really difficult to catch, and then there was this sudden fear that Mum was going to abandon her kittens to keep away. So I made a grab for her at the end where she bit me really, really deep, very painful. So she bit into me, and I eventually put her in the cage and she nursed her kittens. Unfortunately, Gray's little sister got a cold, caught a virus, stopped eating and passed away. Gray grew up big and strong, didn't you? Though we have taken him to the vets a couple of times. But he's all good now. Looks like he's got a little bit of an eye infection. But when Mum was nursing Gray, We moved Mum into the cat, into a cage, and then we moved Mum into the cat room with Gray. Now Mum is probably unadoptable due to the fact she's incredibly feral. We have managed to get her sterilised. We've got given her 1 round of vaccinations, but the problem with that is she escaped at the vets and ran around in the roof. So yeah, really wild. Anyway, so that's Gray and Car Cat's story. As you can see from this video, Gray really likes a cuddle. He is a very adoptable cat, and he's absolutely gorgeous. He's very sweet, aren't you? And loves a cuddle. And that's Gray and his mum Car Cat's story. Okay, so this little guy is Squash. If you watched Cat Vlog 4, you met his sister and you learnt a little bit about their history. I'll briefly run over it. Squash is the son of Yoda. Yoda was one of the first cats that we found and took in off the street, hoping we'd find a forever home for her. We did. Yoda's beautiful. We did find a forever home. She's also very cuddly, but when we handed her over, we did tell the people that she wasn't sterilized, and that the first thing that they needed to do was get her sterilized. They unfortunately didn't. After having Yoda for a period of time, Yoda got pregnant, and we ended up paying for Yoda to be sterilized so that the mistake didn't happen again, and to look after Yoda's kittens, because we didn't want to see them abandoned on the street. So the plan was, we'll take Yoda's kittens and try to find them forever homes. Anyway, a virus got into the house last Christmas and wiped out a number of cats. 2 of Yoda's kittens died because of the virus, and 3 survived. There was Boo, who's already been adopted, Smokey, who you met Cat Vlog 4, and Squash, who I've got here right now. Squash loves a cuddle. He's also had a little bit of an eye infection recently, and so I've taken him out of the cat room to give him a little bit of eye medicine. That's what we've just been doing, and seeing as he's here, I just thought it to be an opportunity to quickly introduce Squash to you. Squash also is a real homebody. He doesn't like leaving the cat room, to be honest with you. You'll rarely find him on the Catio outside. He's much rather be snuggled up on the sofa in the cat room. So this is Squash. I wonder if I can turn around a little bit. There you go. And if you wonder why I'm always looking a little scruffy in these videos, it's because you can see what Squash is doing to me right now. There's no point in wearing nice clothing, because it gets ripped to shreds by these guys just hanging on. There you go. They don't mean to do it. It's just something that happens all the time. And so I always wear tatty t-shirts to not get new ones ruined. So there you go. I'm going to let him go. Oh, go on then. And I'll get the video camera on him. Hey, Squashy. Hey, little boy. Hey, little boy. Oh, you're so handsome.